Hello guys, Dior's here. So, got a fantastic idea for a radical gun control idea. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. What gun control? We don't need more gun control. Just hear me out before you shut me down. Just hear me out on this one. You're probably gonna like this idea that I've got. Since we have a lot of idiot career politicians passing gun laws for guns they have no knowledge about, for these same people who have more than likely never even held a gun in their life. I think they need to meet some prerequisite requirements before they can pass any bullshit gun law they like. Okay, so no matter, like I said, no matter how strict this gun law is, how ridiculous it is, or how minor or insignificant it is, I think all politicians, all lawmakers who want to infringe upon the Second Amendment, like I said, these are the requirements that they need to meet. Okay. One, if you're going to make a gun law, you must, you need to, you need to have served at least a minimum of 8 years in the military. Okay. You need to serve at least 8 years of enlisted service in the military, not officer, not officer, enlisted. Enlisted service in the military, 8 years. Okay. And it has to be, you need to have left on an honorable discharge. Okay. No exceptions to this rule. I'd say the only exception I would make to this rule, and the only one, is if you got out because of something legitimate, like a medical discharge, like myself. I got out for chemical exposure, something that's unforeseeable, something that you can't help. Okay, that would be the absolute only exception to the rule. Okay, 8 years enlisted service. Okay, the other caveat too is that you have to serve on the front lines somewhere. Okay? You have to serve on the front lines. That's part of the reason why I want to be enlisted and not officer, because officers, generally speaking, have a nicer job. Yeah, there's certain things that officers are responsible for that enlisted personnel are not, but at the end of the day, who's actually, out there pounding the ground? It's enlisted personnel. Okay, who's out there in the dirt and in the mud? It's enlisted personnel. Okay, so that way you understand where I come from. Like I said, front line. So preferably when you go to join, I would like you to either join the Army or the Marines. But if you're gonna join like Navy or Chair Force, then I'd like you to. I would like you to be like some like special forces. Okay, so at least that way you'll get to see some action. That's the main deal. I want these people to have experience using the firearm and understanding that that firearm is there to protect their lives and protect the lives of their fellow man, their fellow soldier next to them. Okay, that's part of my reasoning behind this. Now, next caveat too is that you must own a minimum of at least two firearms of your own. Okay, and while you're not actively serving, you're not stationed overseas, I want you to take your personal firearms, okay? Go to the gun range, and I want you to go shooting at least 2 times a month, okay? I want you to get proficient with your firearm. And what does that mean? That means you're gonna have to fire off a few hundred rounds to get fairly proficient, get muscle memory, okay? And if I haven't already thrown this out there, one of those two firearms that you own has to be an AR-15 or AR-10 or some kind of AR variant rifle. The whole reason behind this is because these politicians, you politicians, like to pass laws to ban the AR-15. You like to call it an assault weapon, a fully automatic weapon, which it is not. So that's part of the reason why I want you to own it. So, like I said, I don't care if it's a rifle shotgun, rifle handgun, but I want it to be two at least two different firearms, okay? So that way you know how they operate. Once you get proficient with them, once you know how to tear them down, clean them, repair them, whatnot, okay? So once you have done all that, and only after you've done all that, then you're allowed to pass laws in regards to firearms ownership, okay? Laws that may or may not infringe upon the Constitution. If a politician or a future politician or lawmaker is willing to do that, willing to go through all that, all those caveats, like I said, like I just listed out there, if they're willing to do that, I'll be willing to turn in all my firearms, all of my firearms, all my ammunition, turn them all in right in front of them, okay? I'll even go as far as to disable those firearms. I will go as far as to disable them right there in front of them. Permanently disable all of them. Take a frickin' angle grinder, blowtorch, whatever, cut them up. We can take the ammunition and throw that into a pile and have ourselves a really explosive bonfire. I'd be willing to do all that if they're willing to go through the stuff that I just got to talking about, okay? But that's the main reason why I suggest all this, because these same people who want to pass the laws like the red flag laws, that violate our constitutional rights, not only our Second Amendment right, the right to keep and bear arms, but it violates our Fourth Amendment right, the right to remain safe in our persons and personal effects and papers from unlawful search and seizure, and the right to, our Fifth Amendment right, the right to be to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, well, those are my thoughts. You guys tell me what you think. I'm Diorce, and I am out. Later.